Hello and welcome to Superpower Broadcasting. I'm Kevin Castley. Thanks for being here tonight. Tonight's going to be a much shorter video. I'm going to be talking about a clip from Vaush. Now, this is an older clip, and we're going to be taking a look at it. This was brought to my attention by a Twitter account that I follow, Claire Voltaire, which, by the way, you guys should all go and follow Claire Voltaire on Twitter if you haven't done so yet. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kevin Castley as well while you're at it if you haven't done so yet. Essentially, we've talked about Vaush quite a bit on this channel from time to time, at least. And sometimes, we talk about he's funny, how he's kind of a goofball. There's the man bun, the neck beard, lots of memes going on there, right? But there is a clip from him that, there's a lot of clips that are very yikes, that are yikes to the max, right? But this one of him talking about Israel, just so completely over the top. Now, for whatever reason, even though I had downloaded it a few times, I seriously cannot seem to get the file to upload to my StreamYard here, which is unfortunate. I'm not sure if there's some sort of error, but I am working on getting it to actually upload right now. I usually prepare this stuff right beforehand. This one, for whatever reason, didn't actually work. Maybe it's an issue with my school computer, So we're going to talk about that too. So the update on the situation with Ian is that he hasn't acknowledged me at all. I'm still blocked, and he still is cowardly running away from the debate that he agreed to do. He even said that he wouldn't embarrass himself like Liz. Well, he was right. He embarrassed himself far worse than Liz ever could. So what a disgrace. What a total loser. By the way, Ian Stevens is on Twitter at Ian Stevens C. And if you go and check him out, I'll bring up a picture of his Twitter so you guys can check out who he is. This loser right here. If you all want to go and message him and be like, hey, man, so what's up with the debate? Are you afraid to debate Kevin? You call Kevin an idiot. Are you afraid to debate an idiot? That's a tweet from him right there, right? This one. Because I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to absolutely destroying his little Ivy League ass. This guy's an elitist prick. This guy's full of it. He thinks he's better than everybody else. He thinks he's smarter than everybody else. But oh man, this guy, Reese was right. Reese knew there was no way that this guy was going to do the debate. So this guy, far less courageous than Liz, far less intelligent than Liz. And his Twitter is so much more devoid of any substance, which is, it's amazing. Because, of course, Liz's Twitter, her wall is pretty cringy. But she will have economic substance from here and there. And even though oftentimes it is, it's not exactly something that I would agree with, right? But we're going to try to take a look here. There must have been some sort of error in terms of actually getting the file. I'm not sure what's up with that. Because when I've gone to other downloading sites in order to get the file from Twitter, it won't even recognize the URL. But I was able to get it to work on a specific Twitter video downloader. And I did try it a few times, but for whatever reason, it'll download, but it will not show up in my system anywhere, which is annoying. Because I do want to get this clip for you all. This is going to be, like I said, a shorter stream. But I definitely will go over the quote if I can't work. Because the stuff that he said about Israel is just amazing. Just amazing. And it probably won't come as much of a surprise to people. What I'll try doing is I'll try downloading it in a lower resolution. I tried getting it in 720 quality. We'll have to go with 360p here, see if that works. Because this guy, I mean, it's something that you got to see for yourself. This is pretty amazing. And I know that this is an older clip from Vaush. It's a clip from, I believe, about a year ago. Now, it was a debate that he did with somebody that he called a chud, because of course he did. And Vaush literally advocates for a Holocaust against Israel, a nuclear Holocaust against Israel. This guy has 188,000 subscribers as of the time of this stream. 188,000 people watching this guy that wants to nuke Israel. What an embarrassment. Imagine being like subscribed to this guy unironically. Oh man. Yeah, this is weird. I've never had this happen before. I'll literally download the file and then it will not show up anywhere in my system. That is very annoying. If any of you Zoomers out there know of any sort of workaround in order to get this to work, feel free to give me some advice in the chat. We got 12 people here right now. Very cool. This is just more of a an impromptu stream. I noticed this on my timeline earlier. Now, I had also been aware that Vaush had said stuff that he wanted to nuke Israel, but I never actually saw the clip. This was the clip. Well, I'll go to the tweet from Claire Voltaire first that highlighted the comments from Vaush. This was the tweet that she put out. Now, of course, it's in reference to the 46-second clip from Vaush, in which he advocates for a nuclear holocaust. But she asks, how is it that proper analysis of the issues that plague the Middle East? How is that proper analysis of the issues that plague the Middle East? Does he think there would be no genocide in Syria if Israel didn't exist? Would Yazidis not be ethnically cleansed along with other minorities? Because he essentially, Vaush, attributes everything bad that happens in the Middle East to literally Israel. What a brainlet. Oh, there's Jay wants me to send him the URL. Well, this is the video right here. I'll post it in the chat so you guys can see it right here. That's it right there if you're able to actually get that. But I could send it to you over on Twitter. Yeah, it's very annoying. I have no idea what's up with these Twitter downloading applications right now because none of them will actually present it to anywhere in my files, which is very annoying. But I'll message Jay the tweet here over on Twitter. By the way, go follow Jay. He's got a new account. It's at the Soy Kettle now. Used to be at the War Kettle. That one got suspended, I believe. So he's at the Soy Kettle now. So check him out. Also subscribe to him on YouTube if you haven't done so yet. He's right around 4,000 subscribers. It's very cool. There's a lot of good hot content. In terms of the update on the other debate, the other front, there is going to still be a debate, though, against Dylan Burns. Dylan Burns is going to make the case that a nuclear first strike would never be justified, and that in the case of North Korea, it would be unacceptable. And of course, I'm going to be making the case that it is the only correct option to take right now, given the circumstances with which we are presented. It'll be an interesting debate for sure. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. There's a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation around this. We don't have a date set. I have been in conversation with him on Discord, and we were trying to work out the details of it. And then he ran by the idea of making it instead a 2v2 with some guy from the Serfs. I've never seen the Serfs. I looked them up. Turns out they have like 50,000 subs. But I'm not down for that because we originally agreed to a 1v1. I messaged him a couple days ago. It would have been about 3 or 4 days ago now. I said, we'll do it as a 1v1 like agreed to. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. So I'm not sure what's up with that. He is like, I'm not sure if he does it full time as a job, but he does stream on Twitch several times a week. He's got about 3,500 followers over there. By the way, if you want to help me out, you can go and follow me over on Twitch. Link is in the description below. We're at 34 followers right now. Got to get to 50 to get affiliate status with them. So that'll be cool. If you want to help up the channel. Also, watching this video on Twitch, this stream on Twitch, will definitely boost our viewing metrics. Because, of course, YouTube doesn't care. Unless you have 1,000 subscribers, they don't care. And even then, this channel has a very high chance of never being monetized with YouTube. But with Twitch, that's a different story. Twitch actually does incentivize independent content creation in a way that YouTube used to, but has since turned their back upon in favor of cringe mongers like Trevor Noah and CNN and the mainstream media in general, because they want to make themselves the new TV. They want to make it safe and sanitized, etc. Natalie's here. Welcome, Natalie. We got a few people joining us. We got Mitzi. Very cool. See. And yeah, I'm going to look for one other application to see if I'm able to actually get this file. That's never happened to me before. Usually I just go to one of my go-to 1 or 2 Twitter video downloaders, and boom, it's there, ready to go. I upload it to StreamYard, and we're good. This, not so much. Very annoying. Very annoying. You hate to see it. So, and speaking of things you hate to see, Ian Stevens. Oh, man, that guy. That guy, we're probably never doing the debate. He's in at least in the phase of trying to ignore and block all the school computer memes. Everybody who's been bombarding him with messages with school computer in their name, or asking how his school computer's going, that kind of stuff. He's a fraidy cat. Let's just keep it clear. Let's just be straight up about it. This guy, Ian Stevens, total loser. Absolute loser. He can talk tough when I'm blocked. He could say stuff like this here. Oh, yeah, let's be real. But he can't actually handle the heat. He can handle some memes. This guy right here, Ian Stevens. Ian Stevens. Put up there so you can see his Twitter handle. That's his Twitter handle. He backed out of the debate because of a few wholesome memes. Harmless memes. How embarrassing. He backed out of the debate over stuff like this. The school computer meme. It wasn't even like offensive. It was tame. What a weakling. What a meek and bunk and junk. Little elitist prick. Jay saying, just send you a Google Drive link and you should be able to download it, no problems. So check this out. Yeah, normally we would have had this ready to go in the intro, but we'll see what happens. So hopefully this works. Kind of ridiculous. I'm not sure what's up with all these Twitter download applications, but for whatever reason, unavailable to get this to work. Let's try this though. Actually, there is one other way. Let me just try something here. I'll just be one moment. Try to get the file to work. It's a 46-second clip, which, like I said, you can see it over on her Claire Voltaire's Twitter account. At some point, this Vaush guy is probably going to call me a chud and want to debate. This guy literally thinks that Israel deserves to get nuked, so. Mitzi's saying I'm a chud. Yeah, chud. Chud is one of the lamest uh, insults, I guess, if you can call it an insult. It's mega lame. Like, imagine calling somebody a chud unironically and thinking like you own them. What a poor insult. Yeah, it's literally like Chapo Trap House in that sense. Yeah, I'm just opening up drives right now, so we'll see. Yeah, Jay says Kevin needs someone like me to be his tech support. Yeah, I appreciate it. Jay is not a boomer, so it's helpful to have people around that are not boomers that can actually help out with the tech and Zoomy stuff like that. So that's cool. Yeah, just getting the drive to basically upload right now. Let's see. Kamal G. Ram says Vaush really hates Israel. He really thinks Saudi Arabia is going to be more peaceful if we destroy Israel. The fucking brainlet. Yeah, literally. He thinks basically that the reason why I guess Saudi Arabia is unpleasant to live in is literally because of Israel. That's embarrassing. The guy knows nothing about foreign policy. Imagine being one of the almost 200,000 people that are subscribed to him, unironically. Why not subscribe to Kraut? Why not watch Kraut? Why not watch Reese? Why not watch somebody that's actually going to be educated on these matters? This man bun neckbeard Vaush, my nose is just Jews bad, Israel bad. Yes, I'm trying to get the drives to upload right now. Jay, were you able to actually send the file over? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just checking on Twitter right now. He did send the link, so here we go. See if we can get this to work. If it doesn't work here, then okay. Yeah, so I sent a request to get access to it. So if you approve the request, it should let me download it. So that'd be cool. But yeah, just while we're waiting on the video, I also, I'll say it again. I said this a couple times already in this stream, but this is the news of the hour right now. This guy, Ian Stevens, still refuses to debate me. Backed out of the debate. He backed out of the debate over some memes from Reese and the gang. He couldn't handle the school computer memes. How weak is that? It's amazing. I've never seen somebody back out of something over such harmless memes. It's amazing. Do you guys find school computer to be like super over the top offensive? Because to me, it just seems like a wholesome meme. So, he needs a school computer to debate. Oh, man. Yeah, I like how Natalie's like, no, it was pretty lame. Or no, tame. I thought Natalie was saying that Reese's meme was lame, but I misread it. She said tame. Yeah, it was tame. It's like that meme from Alex Jones back when Alex Jones crashed the set of the Young Turks at the Republican National Convention back in 2016, in the summer of 16, and he crashes the set and sits down and like tries to get an interview for himself, and Jank's not having it, and Jank's mad, and Jank's, he's fuming, and Alex is just like, hey man, we're playing, we're being nice. It's like, that's how I feel with this whole thing. It's like, hey man, we're being nice. Like we could have been a lot harder with the memes. Like, this is the hot gang. We could have made some really potent, really edgy memes. We just did the school computer memes. And that was too much. He couldn't handle it. He couldn't take the heat. So I mean, I disagree with the phrasing of him as thin-skinned. It implies that he has any barrier of skin whatsoever. He has none. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Pathetic. You hate to see it. So imagine subscribing to this guy, or following this guy, rather. He has almost 2,000 followers. Imagine being a follower of Ian Stevens, this guy right here. What a goofball. Yeah, we'll see if Jay approved the drive request so we can get it to work. If it doesn't work, at some point, this system will resolve itself on the side of the Twitter downloading applications. But for right now, it doesn't look like you can just download files from Twitter. That's annoying. Or maybe it's a problem with my computer. Maybe I actually do need a school computer to do a stream. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's the issue, right? Maybe I just need my school computer. So yeah, Jay might have gone to bed or something. Not sure. We'll see. Because it required him to approve the request to get access to the file. So I'll shoot him a message over on Twitter. How's everybody doing tonight, though? We will wrap up the stream pretty soon if I can't get this to work. So that's disappointing, though. I was ready to go. I definitely had some points I wanted to make on the video, but it doesn't look like there's any way to actually get it to work, at least not from Twitter. So that's annoying. I'll see if I can find it on YouTube. There might be a chance that somebody uploaded a reasonably short clip of Vaush talking about that. I did try to find it earlier when this wasn't working, but I couldn't really find anything on YouTube. All I could find was the full hour-long debate. So and obviously I'm not going to be able to upload that on StreamYard. So I'll try looking one more time. If it doesn't work, I'll try to get it to work tomorrow night. But I will address some of the points in the video tonight, though. Yeah, it looks like this clip was totally removed. I'm not even sure how Claire was able to get it. But for whatever reason, I'm not sure. For whatever reason, the software isn't allowing a proper download of Twitter clips right now. It must be the case. So and it looks like Jay must have got busy or gone to bed or something. So we'll see. Anyway, in the video, Vaush talks about how he wants to literally nuke Israel. He says that Israel is the reason for the Middle East being so bad, and that, of course, 4 countries are justified in hating Israel and invading Israel multiple times. And he thinks that a nuclear strike, a nuclear holocaust against Israel would clean up the mess, quote unquote, or whatever. I'm not sure if that was his exact phrasing, but he's not a fan of Israel and not a fan of the people of Israel. So he thinks that the Middle East would be good if it wasn't for Israel. So therefore, Israel. That's his reasoning, essentially. Now, I could probably spend an hour here saying why I think that that's ridiculous. I'm not going to waste my time on that, though. I've just got a few statements here. One, Israel is one of the most loyal and natural, in terms of ideological commonality, allies to the West. 2, Israel and the Jewish people have been through a lot. Imagine being part of the Jewish diaspora for several thousand years, dealing with the pogroms, and then finally culminating in the Holocaust. But then you finally get your own state. But then that's not good enough for your enemies, that they still now build up nukes against you and side with the Soviet Union against you and invade you. And, obviously, we're talking like the 67 war. We had, there were a few wars that occurred in terms of trying to take over Israel. Israel, of course, kicked their ass, the Arab dictatorship's ass. And then now they have to deal with Iran. Iran is seriously trying to build up nuclear weapons. Saddam Hussein was too. Saddam had the Iraq reactor that he was enriching uranium to weapons grade levels at. The yellow cake and a bunch of other precursors was actually provided to him by France. By the way, what an embarrassment. Like, people will say, oh, but Israel isn't a loyal ally or whatever. It's like, yeah, well, they're far more loyal than France ever was. France was selling Saddam Hussein weapons of mass destruction, and the Mossad had to blow up ships and French to stop Saddam from getting literally precursors for nukes. Oh, but America gave Saddam WMDs. It's like, no, it was almost all the Soviet Union and France. So I never really considered France a serious ally. So you can look at them during the Cold War too. They were far too cozy with the Soviet Union. I mean, how embarrassing is it when a democracy like France is cozier to the Soviet Union than like actual fascist states like Franco and Pinochet? They were actual loyal allies. They didn't screw around with the Soviets like the French did. So never really been much a fan of France, not their foreign policy or anything. Sure, there's like cool stuff in French culture and everything, but like their politics, man, Like there needs to be there needs to be a reformation there. There seriously needs to be like a new sort of Western Enlightenment or whatever, and that's the case for a lot right now. A lot of Europe has become very anti-American. Putin's been able to seize upon it big time. It's basically infested with either the most cringy, shit-libby, neoliberal UN cuckery, or it's straight up socialism and apologetics for socialism. There definitely needs to be a revival of Western values in Europe for sure. So, anyway, getting back to what I was saying though, so they basically sold Saddam the stuff to get nukes with. Israel actually had to do an operation where they were able to fly under the radar, violate a few countries' airspace, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and then into Iraq, and they blew the crap out of the Osirak reactor. Israel is the reason that Saddam never actually got nukes. So a lot of people talk about it like, oh, you don't understand, man. Bush lied. Saddam didn't have nukes. Like as if weapons of mass destruction are only nuclear. So that already proves that they're brainless. But two, the only reason that Saddam didn't get nukes was because of Israel. And the chances are, if that person's making this point to like hate on Bush and Cheney, they already hate Israel too. So Saddam literally would have had nukes if it wasn't for Israel. But they hate Israel. Anyway, Israel had to take care of business. They did it. France screwed them over, as per usual. France screwed the Western Alliance over, as per usual. I mean, it's basically Switzerland here. Yeah, we got Uriel Suarez right now. He says Switzerland is to North Korea as France is to Iran. And yeah, that is so painfully accurate. That's literally it. I mean, because of course Kim Jong-un went to school in Switzerland. They got the embassy there. They got all the swaggy Mercedes and stuff that they get with, their blood money, and they go and ball in Switzerland. And Switzerland's like, but yeah, we're neutral. Aren't we so woke? It's like, yeah, in my view, and I've talked about this before, if you're neutral between good and evil, you are an enemy. You're not somebody I'm just going to let be. Like if I'm the president of the United States, if I'm in charge of a serious world power and I'm looking at Switzerland, I'm not looking at them as, oh, they just want to sit this one out. No, they're literally trading with the enemy. At a minimum, they need to be sanctioned. At a minimum, they need to be embargoed. Like the bare minimum. And they've done this for a long time. They were cozy with Hitler too. I know people call Switzerland Western. I don't think it's the most Western. They're as Western as communist China is. They're cozy with North Korea. They're cozy with the axis of evil. And of course, France is the same way with with Iraq and now with Iran. They sold weapons of mass destruction precursors over to Iraq back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. Assad had to deal with it. And now, of course, today, they are giving a pass to Iran so that Iran can get nukes. And they say, oh, but Trump's not woke. Trump pulled out of the deal. We made a deal, bro. God, I hate these neoliberals that defend that shit. Like, imagine unironically defending the quote-unquote deal that Obama signed that literally lifted sanctions on Iran while they developed nukes. Normally, if a country is developing nukes, you do sanctions against them. Now, I talked about that in the past. I think that that's kind of a dumb strategy because North Korea proved that sanctions don't really do anything, and that if a country's determined, they'll get the nukes sooner or later anyway, and that sanctions only really hurt the people on the ground. But I'm also not for not doing anything. Like, my problem with sanctions is that they give people a false sense of accomplishment because I support war. I support war to prevent these countries from getting nuclear weapons. I think that if you say, oh, well, we'll sanction them, bro, it gives you the sense that like, oh, we're doing something, it's working or whatever, which of course it's not. Of course it's not. The only action that you can take is war. And that was clear with North Korea. Imagine if we did a war against North Korea before 2006, they never would become a nuclear state. Now they're a nuclear state and they're blackmailing the world essentially. And this is just the beginning. And they're building up an immense atomic arsenal, and they're working on getting H-bombs. An obvious, great error on the part of the Western powers to not go to war with North Korea before they got nukes. It's playing out again with Iran. And France is like, oh, but Orange Man bad, Trump not woke. Like, I'll say this. I would take Trump any day over any of the French leaders. Like, no doubt, no doubt, because at least Trump will surround himself with people like Bolton or Pompeo or Mattis. Now, sure, a lot of them get fired and everything, but hey, he still pulled out of the Iran deal. That was still more strength than I've ever seen from Emmanuel Macron, the daddy of the neoliberal community. Like, their daddy's weak. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Globe Twitter, they idolize Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel, two of the weakest leaders in the world. I mean, there are leaders of countries that have like 1% the military strength of France that are stronger and have stronger will than like Emmanuel Macron. That's embarrassing. Like, imagine having nukes. Imagine having the Air Force that France does. Imagine having the military industrial infrastructure that France does and acting like you're Switzerland, basically. Like, oh, I can't tell the difference. Oh, hey, actually, Iran's the good guy. America's the bad guy. It's like, yeah, at some point, you're no longer really much of an ally to the West. You're a liability at that point. They were often a liability during the Cold War. They were a liability with respect to Iraq. Now they're a liability with respect to Iran. Oh, but they're in NATO, bro. It's the same thing with Turkey. Oh, but they're in NATO, bro. It's like, yeah, and they're screwing over Western interests. They're screwing over U.S. interests. Oh, but you don't understand, man, like unity and cohesion and stuff. It's like, yeah, they literally simp for Putin and the Ayatollah and like North Korea. Huh. Oh, man. Anyway, so yeah, haven't heard back from Jay. Doesn't look like we're going to get the video going tonight. I will try to get it working for tomorrow night. Vaush is a complete disgrace. The third point that I wanted to make on this, though, is that isn't it funny how Vaush, the guy who will continually woke scold and call anybody to the right of Stalin, basically, a chud, a Nazi, a reactionary, accuse them of dog whistling, of being anti-Semitic. Isn't it funny how the guy Vaush, who calls basically everybody anti-Semitic, who calls Charlie Kirk a Nazi? Like, I don't like Charlie Kirk. I disagree with him on a ton of stuff. Imagine thinking he's a Nazi. That guy. Isn't it funny how the guy who calls everybody a Nazi literally said that he wanted to do a quote-unquote nuclear holocaust against Israel? Hitler didn't even do a nuclear holocaust against Israel. Now, in fairness, he was trying to get nukes, and he did do the original Holocaust. But, I mean, if Hitler does a Holocaust and he's a Nazi, what does that make Vaush? Because he wants to do a nuclear Holocaust against the Jewish people. What does that make him? Oh, but you don't understand, bro. He's woke. He's not right-wing. He's left-wing, so it's okay. And, like, Stalin killed more people than Hitler. Oftentimes, the left-wing, in fact, in most cases, left-wing, in fact, in almost every case, left-wing regimes kill more people than right-wing regimes. Like, we can look at Latin America. Look at Castro, killed over 50,000 people. Compare him to Pinochet, killed under 10,000 people. But Pinochet is seen as like this horrible, evil fascist, which, like, he was a fascist, right? And like Vaush should call anybody that defended Pinochet, oh, like, look, he's a helicopter bro. He's an evil chud and everything. Vaush, despite claiming to not be a tanky, actually supports the Castro regime. He says it's different, bro. It's not like Stalin, it's different, bro. So Castro killed more people than Pinochet ever did. I mean, it's almost just part of the ideology. It's very difficult to carry out that mass scale, whole scale slaughter in such a systematic way. It wasn't something that of old were really able to do. It wasn't something that reactionary ideologies generally were able to do. It's really something that modern ideologies really enabled. You know, obviously National Socialism was one of them, I mean, that with the Holocaust, but for the most part, it was the left wing ones. It was like communism in its various forms. So I hate that argument that, like, oh, but he's on the left. It's like, why does that matter? I'm not on the left. That has no weight for me. Like, I'm basically center right. So if you say it's like, oh, but he's a leftist, it's like, yeah. So you're proving my point. He's a bad dude. Like, this guy. It's not to say that all leftists are bad people. A lot of them are totally fine. But like, the guy's going around calling basically everybody. He calls like Charlie Kirk a Nazi. He also calls him a neocon, so that's funny because like Nazis and neocons hate each other. But he of course he doesn't know that. He doesn't know anything. He himself wants to do a nuclear holocaust against like the Jewish state. So kind of funny, right? Kind of hypocritical. Kind of a morally duplicitous hack, wouldn't you say? Jay back though. He's actually in the chat. We'll see if Jay's got anything to say here about if the file's actually going to work or not, because it wasn't working for me because it said when I tried to actually access the doc, it says that it's basically requires Jay to give access to it. So I'll probably go for about 3 more minutes unless we get this wrapped up. So just reading through the chat right now. Yeah, screw Vaush, big up Israel. And yeah, screw the neutral countries. Like, imagine being neutral in the face of evil. Like, what does that make you? Okay, Jay says they like to try now, so he might have approved the request. We'll take a look here. Oh, yeah, here we go. It looks like it's loading. Let's try this. See if I can get this one to download. Okay, it is downloading now, so that's cool. See if we can get this to work. See if we can get it to work. So try uploading it here. Because it did complete the download. So take a look at this. If this doesn't work, then I probably just need a better school computer. So take a look here. Wow, that's amazing. It downloaded, but I can't find the file anywhere. Yikes. So it looks like it's probably actually a problem with my computer then. That sucks. Oh well. I am actually able to see it in a folder, but that is very annoying. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to wrap up the stream because for whatever reason, like I can see the file. The file is downloaded. It'll even show up in a folder. But when I go to actually search for it to upload, it will not allow me to upload it for whatever reason. That is super weird. So, super weird. Anyway, we went over the points in the video. You can check out the video on Claire Voltaire's Twitter account. Just amazing. This guy, I can't get over just the hypocrisy and the hackery of him calling other people Nazis, who clearly almost all of them are not Nazis. Yet he literally wants to nuke like half the Jewish people in the world. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. And of course, oh yeah, he would call me a chud. It's like, if this guy calls me a chud, then I'd rather be a chud than support a nuclear holocaust against Israel. What a joke. What a joke. So he got banned from Twitch, I believe, over this. Or it might have been a different remark. I know that he got banned from Twitch over saying that he wanted to nuke Israel. So it might have been a separate occasion. It wouldn't surprise me. Obviously, it's something he's pretty passionate about. So what a toxic little disgraceful cretin. And a fifth column. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Like, imagine, again, just imagine being a fan of Vaush and imagine going along and calling everybody else Nazis and he wants to nuke Israel. That is a huge yikes, bro. Huge yikes. Oh, wow. I figured it out. I actually got the file to work here. We're going to bring it up right now. We'll take a look at this. Take a look at this right here. I'm a boomer. I figured out what happened. Wow, that was dumb. It turns out that the Twitter downloading applications that I was using actually did work to download it. So we didn't have to do the Google Drive thing. But StreamYard within the last few hours switched out where you go and upload the things on your brand. It used to be you would upload a picture, you'd upload a video, whatever. It'd all go into the same set of 100 different cards. They split images to video clips. That's why I couldn't find it, even though I could see it in folders, because it would only let me upload images in that part. That's annoying. I mean, I guess it's useful for organization on their part, you know, but yeah, that's annoying. Because of course, on the old StreamYard setup, you would have all your video clips right in the lower portion of your branding cards, and you would have your images in the upper portion. It still looks like that. There's just a tiny bit of space between them now, so they're separate. So you have to press a different button now. So yeah, classic boomerism. But anyway, here we go. Going to take a look at this video, and then we're going to wrap up. I already gave my criticism. I might have one more thing to say after this, but check it out.
Yeah. Guess what? There's like 4 other countries which want to destroy Israel.
Yeah, all very validly. Israel is a massive fucking economic and political threat to the countries in that area. You realize that all the nations in the Middle East have every reason to fucking hate Israel, right? Like, you realize the Middle East would be calmer if they succeeded and obliterated Israel, if they nuked it and wiped it off the map. That would lead to a more peaceful Middle East than one that exists right now. By invading them.
Well, okay, what's another solution? What's your solution?
Are you Really? Okay. First of all, Israel needs to fucking go. They are not a catalyst for Middle Eastern success. They are an agitator. They are a thorn in the side of the Middle East.
Yeah. So that's the full context there. He literally said it. I didn't misquote him or anything. He literally said, nuke Israel. We'll watch it again. That's amazing.
Yeah. Guess what? There's like 4 other countries which want to destroy Israel.
Very validly. Israel is a massive fucking economic and political threat to the countries in that area. You realize that all the nations in the Middle East have every reason to fucking hate Israel, right? You realize the Middle East would be calmer if they succeeded and obliterated Israel, if they nuked it and wiped it off the map. That would lead to a more peaceful Middle East than one that exists right now. By invading them.
Well, okay, what's another solution? What's your solution?
Are you... Really? Okay. First of all, Israel needs to fucking go. They are not a catalyst for Middle Eastern success. They are an agitator. They are a thorn in the side of the Middle East.
Okay. So he didn't actually use the term nuclear holocaust. He said obliterate them with nukes, basically. Same thing. So he's going around calling other people Nazis. But he just said that. Now, this was from over a year ago, granted. Has his mind changed? No, I don't think so. He just doesn't talk about it anymore because he got banned on Twitch and he doesn't want to get banned from YouTube. But he's perfectly happy to laugh at other people like Devin Tracy getting banned from YouTube, even though the stuff that Devin Tracy has said is nowhere, it's not even close. Like, he's made some like racy jokes and stuff. Whereas with Vaush, he's unironically, not for comedy or anything, just 100% serious, said he wants to kill like half of the Jewish people in the world. Oh, but we're the Nazis if we're to the right of him. We're chuds, bro. We're reactionaries. Like that neocon Charlie Kirk. Oh man, what an embarrassment. And of course, the man bun. That's his man bun neck beard. What a meme. Imagine being this guy's parents. Huh. He's like Nick Fuentes. He's like a fatter version of Nick Fuentes. They would both agree on that. They both, without a question, want to nuke Israel. Huh. Amazing. I mean, horseshoe theory strikes again, my friends. So, thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. Check out my channel over on Twitch. Also, of course, if you want to support the financial viability of this channel, you can check out my Patreon. That's patreon.com/superpowerbroadcasting. If you'd like to send me a tip, feel free to hit up my PayPal link in the description below. And with that, thank you, everybody, and have a good night.